In the March 2017 edition of What's New Massachusetts, hop on the Red Line and check out the historic Quincy Center. The City of Presidents has a treasure trove of new restaurants, including KKatie's Burgers. Head down Hancock Street for the new Venetian-style bacaro called Zef Cicchetti Raw Bar, sister restaurant and next-door neighbor to Alba. And chat with Quincy's Kerry Byrne, a former food critic with the Boston Herald, about the city's bustling new foodie scene. What's new, Massachusetts? Here are your co-hosts Sam Baltrusis and Sharon Filiaw.
Welcome to the March edition of What's New Massachusetts. My name is Sam Baltrusis. Joining me is my lovely co-host Sharon Filiaw.
Hi Sam, how are you?
Hi Sharon.
Hi.
So this month we're going to talk about Quincy, Mass.
Yes, we had a great time. We interviewed two restaurateurs, have two totally different establishments. It was a lot of fun.
So based on your experience, did you know much about Quincy coming in?
You know, I really didn't. What was fascinating was that I didn't know it was a walking historical town. And it's so great because you can walk and see things, and then you can choose from a number of restaurants to eat from.
I'm actually amazed like what's happened in the last few months. Like there's a couple of restaurants that opened up. We're going to talk to Kerry Byrne about what's happening in Quincy, but I worked there on the USS Salem last October.
Right, that was scary. The USS Salem. But Kerry Byrne, who's the former food editor for the Boston Herald, is a treasure trove of information about Quincy. He knows everything, and we're going to talk to him in just a little bit.
So What's New Massachusetts is doing really well. We got picked up by multiple affiliates. We were talking about that earlier.
Yes, I can't believe it, and we're actually a hit on the Cape. Yeah, you know, Sam was telling me we're so excited to have more viewers to see our shows that we can share our experiences with. It's very exciting.
Yeah. So as far as like locations, so we got picked up in Hingham, we got picked up in Bourne, got picked up all over the Cape.
Sandwich. Right.
Sandwich. So if you had to go on the Cape, where would you want to go?
Actually, Hyannisport is pretty cool. Hyannis is interesting. Plymouth, Provincetown, Nantucket. There's so many places to go down there.
I have a big event coming up May 12th through May 14th at Provincetown Paracon, so maybe we could do our show in Provincetown.
That would be really great. I've been to Provincetown. It's a lot of fun, and the ferry ride is so nice. Great ferry ride.
So we're going to roll a clip from our experience in Quincy. Our first clip is on KKatie's Burgers. So tell me a little bit about that.
Ooh, the burgers are huge. They're about this big. So Katie McSorley is the founder and one of the owners of the restaurant. They've worked really, really hard, and they chose Quincy because it's an up-and-coming area, and they wanted to gain traction there, and I think that they succeeded. Yeah,
so KKatie's is actually based in other locations. So Hyannis is one of them, Marshville's another, and so the new one in Quincy is sort of their new event or new restaurant.
Exactly, and they're really looking to expand, and like as I mentioned, they're really working hard to provide a really great product for all of their patrons.
So let's roll a clip on KKatie's Burgers.
This is Sharon Filiaw for What's New Massachusetts. Here we are in downtown Quincy Center. We're at KKatie's Burger Bar, a new up-and-coming burgeoning restaurant, and we're going to check it out right now. Joining me now is Miss Katie McSorley, the owner of KKatie's Burger Bar. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Sharon.
So now, Katie, you have a number of locations in addition to this one. Can you tell us where your other locations are?
Well, this is our fourth location in Quincy. We have Plymouth was our first store, then we opened in Hyannis and Marshfield.
What made you choose downtown Quincy Center?
Well, we were contacted that there was some space coming up, and did we want to be a part of this new development here, and in investigating the opportunity, we couldn't refuse with everything going on here. It's very exciting.
That is. Now, we were talking a little bit before. You mentioned how important the food is here. What are some of the favorite dishes?
Well, we have a lot of burgers. We have a KK Mac that's great. We do horseradish peppercorn burger. We do appetizers. We have frickles, which are fried pickles, which is a big hit with everybody. We have what we call the Granite Rock, which is stacked burgers about maybe that high. So Yeah, so we do a lot of burgers, but we do other things too. We have chicken dishes, chicken sandwiches, and appetizers. We have vegetarian options, salads. So we have a little bit of everything.
So this sounds like it's a type of establishment where a family could come in and just have a good time and relax, not too pretentious. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. We love us. They come all the time. The kids love coming in. It's very casual. They like the atmosphere because it's fun. And again, we just focus on the food, a lot of good food and very relaxed atmosphere, sort of upbeat, fun.
That's great. Now, for the sake of our viewers, could you let us know what your hours are of operation?
We open at 11:30 and we serve our menu until midnight, and the bar closes at 12:30. So,
Katie McSorley, thank you so much for joining us. Continued success to you. Thank you. Here we are now with Mr. Kerry Byrne, the former food editor of the Boston Herald and now working with the city of Quincy in this burgeoning area of restaurants and bars. So what is your focus in your position?
Well, Quincy has an incredibly dynamic restaurant scene, a lot of new places opening. Also, very conveniently located to Boston. There's four Red Line stops, Quincy Center cheese stops right here, and we're 15 minutes from South Station. We have gorgeous waterfront, and we have not only this great restaurant scene around us, but we're sitting amid one of the greatest collection of historic sites in America. John Quincy Adams was born right down the street. They're buried right here in the Church of the Presidents. John Hancock was born right here in Quincy Center, the famed patriot. We have the 1640 Hancock Cemetery, one of the oldest burial grounds in America right here. The Constitution was written here in Quincy. The Presidential Mansion is a short walk away. The Adams National Historical Park. It's all right here, but amid all this great history that's been here forever, we have this incredible treasure trove of new restaurants opening. KKatie's here being one of the premier among them. But we had 4 restaurants open in the last couple weeks. We have 5 more restaurants opening in this immediate block in the next couple weeks ahead of us. 3 more restaurants a couple months down the road, and we expect Quincy to be the next great dining destination in Greater Boston. It just has everything, and it's conveniently located 15 minutes from South Station on the Red Line.
Now that's a very interesting point because tourists can come out here readily, and while they're checking out the historical sites, they can also have something great to eat, and they have a variety of restaurants to choose from.
Absolutely. Well, I was a history major at college, and I love history. Unfortunately, history is not necessarily that sexy on its own, but when you travel, what do? You go and you visit, you go to Europe, you go visit the museums, but you also want something to eat or drink. You go to London, you go to the pubs. You go to Paris, you go to the cafes. You go to Munich, you go to the beer gardens. Here in Quincy, where we have, again, this incredible collection of historic sites, now you can also get world-class cocktails, great, world-class burgers like here at KKatie's. We have a new Venetian-style bacaro that just opened. A great new Japanese restaurant, Fuji at Wester Chestnut. Just any kind of food you want, you can now find here in Quincy Center. Not only that, there's been an influx of culinary talent coming here. A lot of chefs and up-and-coming chefs and restaurateurs probably can't afford to live in the South End anymore. Probably can't afford to live in the Southport and the Seaport. They can hop on the train 15 minutes from downtown Boston and find more affordable homes here, more affordable real estate to open restaurants. We've had an incredible influx of great Boston talent opening restaurants here and coming to work here.
Well, that does sound like a tremendous magnet for, as you mentioned, new businesses, and that this is a tremendous walking town. That's what's so attractive about it. Kerry Byrne, thank you so much for joining us. We look forward to talking to you later. Bye-bye. Joining me now is Mr. John Herman, Vice President of Operations of KKatie's Burger Bar. John, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me today.
So John, you're part of the nerve center of this establishment. What makes KKatie's Burger Bar so different from other restaurants of this sort?
Well, I always say one of the things that separates us from the other restaurants is that we don't have any pretense here. This is a place that you can really come, relax, be yourself, bring your friends, bring your family. I always say that you can come from working in the yard, or you can come from working in the office, and you're going to be treated the same and have the same experience. So that's what we love about it. You just sit back, we're just serving burgers and having a great time.
We've just had an amazing time talking to the owners of KKatie's Burger Bar, located in downtown Quincy, right here on Hancock Street. So if you're around, come in and check it out. And now I'm going to check out this granite bar burger. Excuse me.
Welcome back to What's New Massachusetts. Joining me now is Kerry Byrne. Hi, Kerry.
Sam, how are you?
Good to see you.
Great to see you.
I was so impressed with Quincy.
Quincy is the most historic city in America, literally the most historic city in America. It's the greatest concentration of colonial and early American historic sites of any city in America. Not only that, you know, it's been, for some reason, people in Boston think it's way out in the suburbs. It's way out on Cape Cod, but it's 15 minutes from South Station on the Red Line. It has a great, vast public transportation network. And right now, you know, it was an old industrial city back in the day. It was a shipbuilding city with a granite quarrying community. And like a lot of small American cities, you know, in recent decades, kind of went through a period, a little bit of a decline. But right now it's on the rebound. There's a lot of great development, a lot of great investment, a lot of great creative energy in the downtown. And as we saw recently, you know, really a great vibrant culinary community. There's a lot of talent, a lot of culinary talent, chefs, restaurateurs moving to Quincy. And again, it's 15 minutes from downtown Boston. It's not really that far out there, you know?
Well, so I worked on the USS Salem in October, and I didn't go down Hancock Street. I wish I would have.
Yeah.
But now, like, there's so many new restaurants. So how many altogether?
It's just literally in the last few weeks, 4 new restaurants have opened side by side in Quincy Center. We have 5 new restaurants opening. We have 3 other restaurants opening right around downtown. These are all in walking distance. These are all literally steps from Quincy Center T Station, which, by the way, is served by not only the Red Line, 3 commuter rail lines, 24 bus routes connecting everywhere from Boston to Brockton. It's really one of the great transportation hubs in Eastern Mass. The Southeast Expressway goes right through Quincy. You know, that's where it is. It's in Quincy. So it's a really very conveniently located community. And by the way, 27 miles of waterfront, the biggest waterfront in all of Eastern Mass. Now, Hancock Street downtown is maybe, you know, half a mile from the water, so you're not really on the water when you're there. But there's so much going on. It's really a community that was one of the, you know, was such a vibrant community, is really on the ascendancy once again, and so many great places to eat, so many great things to do right now.
Well, we ran a clip on KKatie's Burgers, so they're based in other locations as well. Like, are these all locations that are unique to Quincy, or are they multiple locations?
So KKatie's is a kind of a Cape Cod. It's different. They're out of Plymouth, so they have a couple locations in Plymouth, Hingham, just south of Quincy, a couple on Cape Cod. So Quincy's kind of really the closest, you know, location to the city, really. But among all the other places, a lot of people around here know a lot of people around Boston know the JP Fuji Group. They own restaurants at Kendall Square, Assembly Row, Ink Block. Really, in fact, they were named the 2016 Greater Boston Chamber of Commerce Small Business of the Year. They're a Quincy company. They're run by 2 Chinese immigrants who went to North Quincy High School, who cook the most amazing Japanese food. And so they opened their flagship restaurant in Quincy Center, Fuji at Western Chestnut, which is a new development. Right down the street is a new Faux Pasteur, which is a Vietnamese restaurant, which everyone in Chinatown knows. And now they have another outpost in Quincy. Next to that is KKatie's, a burger place we were just talking about. Next to that is Zef Cicchetti Raw Bar, which is a beautiful place, which is a Venetian-style, Cicchetti's kind of Venetian-style tapas. It's a Venetian bacaro, they would call it, and which is really, Venetian bacaro is really kind of a hot trend right now all over Boston, and Quincy has one of the premier ones all around. It's just a beautiful, beautiful restaurant with reclaimed wood, exposed brick, reclaimed gas lanterns, you know, that they use as light fixtures. So there's such a variety of different dining options. Not only that, Quincy, by the way, is the most diverse community, more diverse than Somerville, more diverse than Cambridge. If you look at it through census data, and if you look at different ethnicities, it's the most diverse community in Greater Boston.
Well, it's great that the food scene reflects that.
It does, yeah. And there's always been, you know, for the last 20 years, there's been a very vibrant Asian dining scene, but Quincy also has a very large Lebanese community, a large Albanian community, a large Filipino community, historically an Italian-Irish community, and before that, of course, an old blue blood Brahmin community, like a lot of places around here, but really is a lot of ethnic diversity. I mean, you can go to Filipino restaurants, you can go to Korean restaurants, you can go to Lebanese restaurants. There's a lot of great stuff. Not to mention the old, you know, there's great old Irish pubs still. They're really, you know, that old kind of blue collar, you know, there was, like I said, a great shipbuilding town back in the day. So there's still the vestiges of the old blue collar working class Quincy, but there's so much more going on now. And by the way, the centerpiece of it, they're building right off Quincy Center. And by the way, all these restaurants we're talking about, all walking distance from Quincy Center T Station.
Yeah.
The centerpiece of that is a new green being built, the Hancock Adams Green. Ooh. People don't realize, you know, John Adams you know, Quincy is called the City of Presidents. President John Adams was from Quincy. President John Hancock was from Quincy. President John Quincy Adams was from Quincy. Not only that, President of the Second Continental Congress, John Hancock was from Quincy, probably one of the 5 most famous Americans of all time. We all know his signature, right? Oh, put your John Hancock on it. He's a Quincy kid, you know. So they're all from Quincy. So the new green they're building, this new trophy public park they're building in the center of the city, the Hancock Adams Green. Phase 1 opened last year. They're constructing Phase 2 over the course of 2017, and that'll really be a trophy anchor public space in the center of the city.
So you were born in Quincy, right? Or raised in Quincy?
I was pretty much born there, but you know, I've had the fortune as a food writer for many years. I've covered food for the Boston Herald for 20 years. I wrote for many different magazines, covered the NFL, covered Super Bowls. I've traveled all over the world, to Europe, Asia, covering food and drink and dining. I've had a very fortunate career, but you like to be in front of, you like to be at the forefront of trends. And right now, Quincy is the next great hot dining destination. I wouldn't have kind of done what I'm doing now if I didn't really see the future of it, and really the next place to go. If you want really trendy, cool places to eat and drink, Quincy is the place to be.
Everyone, guess where we are? We are in Quincy at a cemetery. And look who I brought with me, my friend Kerry Byrne.
Hey Carol, how are you?
Good, I'm glad you came. So we were hiding it out, cemetery.
It is almost Halloween. You want to be a little spooky, right?
So tell us about the historical aspect of this cemetery.
We are standing in the middle of one of the oldest burial grounds in America, 376 years old, dating from 1640, the Hancock Cemetery. So named for the Reverend John Hancock, the father of the famous patriot. The Reverend John Hancock lived right up the street, about 2 blocks from here where John Hancock was born. Again, another Quincy kid.
I was just going to say another Quincy kid.
Couldn't have a revolution without those Quincy kids.
Right.
But because the Reverend, he was the minister of what's now the Church of the Presidents, the United First Parish Church. He's buried here, so the cemetery is named after him. But not only is the Reverend John Hancock buried here, the presidents and the first ladies were originally buried here before their bodies were moved inside.
I was going to ask you that.
Yeah, inside the Church of the Presidents. 69 veterans of the Revolution from Quincy are buried here today. Their names listed right here. Quite a beautiful tomb, and grateful remembrance of the men of Quincy who on land and sea fought to establish the independence of the United States of America and the Revolution of 1775 to 1783. 69 of them right here. I mean, you can see Revolutionary War monuments here.
I see.
And here and all over. Quincy's the first man from Quincy to serve in the Civil War is buried here. And you'll see some really old, being from 1640, some very old gravestones here. So if you want to do something a little spooky for Halloween and very historic, kind of come walk through here and see the winged skull.
Oh, the winged skull.
The winged skull. And it's just really a very cool place. And again, Carol, we're right off the red line. Quincy Center Cheese Station's right here.
So you have 15 minutes from South Station. That's
right
amazing.
Here. Yeah, and all this incredible history is around you. The Church of the Presidents.
Great place
right
to
across
live.
the street. And we can hear the train going by right now.
Exactly, cool. Thank you so much. So hope everyone liked that little boo for the historical segment of the Chef's Table series. So we'll see you next time.
So we're back with Mr. Kerry Byrne, the former food editor of the Boston Herald. Kerry, I love history, and you just seem to have so much knowledge. We were just kind of joking that you must be a master of Trivial Pursuit. But I was very interested in the history, particularly of the Bunker Hill Monument. You mentioned the Granite Highway?
Well, the Bunker Hill Monument is built out of Quincy granite. And Quincy was a great quarrying town historically. In fact, it was once called the Granite City, and there's actually whole Quarry Hills development with the great golf course up there overlooking the Boston skyline. It's a beautiful location, but. One of the purposes of those quarries, they harvested the granite to build the Bunker Hill Monument. But not only that, to get the granite from Quincy to Charlestown, they built America's first commercial railway. It was called the Granite Railway. Right. Remnants of it still exist. It's right off the Southeast Expressway. Yeah.
It's a small portion. I saw a picture of it, and it's not that wide. The portion, but it's fascinating.
And what they would do, and what you see, what the remnants of it are what they call the granite incline. It was like kind of a pulley system to get the granite down off the hill to grade level, and then they would put it on the railway, which basically followed the Southeast Expressway to the Neponset River, put on barges and float the granite to Charlestown to build Bunker Hill Monument, but it was literally America's first, among Quincy's many historical first, was being the home of America's first commercial railway for the sole purpose of building the Bunker Hill Monument.
But it's interesting, the historical aspect of Quincy is such a tremendous draw.
Yeah.
How are you going to convey this to, do you have a plan in place with the city of Quincy?
No, absolutely. We have so much going on, and I love history, as you do.
I can tell.
But unfortunately, history is not sexy, you and I maybe, but history's not, And but when you travel, people might go see historic sites, but they want other things to do, right?
Right.
When people go to London, they also want to go to the pubs. People go to Paris, they go to the cafes. Right. People go to Munich, they go to the beer gardens. People go to Bangkok, they go to and eat the street food.
Right.
So among all the history, you need a hospitality aspect. So. Quincy right now is in the midst of developing a very vibrant hospitality community with a whole wave of new restaurants opening representing many different types of cuisine.
Yes.
We have, in the space of a couple months, we'll have 9 new restaurants open right in a 2-block area off Quincy Center Cheese Station.
We're here at Zef Cicchetti Raw Bar, a beautiful establishment here in downtown Quincy. And we're going to meet the owner in just a moment. This is a beautiful location. It's a building that has been refurbished. They have beautiful decor. We're going to find out all about it in just a moment. So let me ask you this. How did you get started in the restaurant business?
About 25 years ago, I came as an immigrant in the United States, and I started as a dishwasher in an old restaurant Anthony's Pier 4. I worked as a busboy, a waiter, a restaurant manager for Grill 23 was my last job, and then I opened my own restaurant about 16 years ago.
So you've really worked in most of the aspects of the restaurant business, even before you became a restaurateur.
I tried everything. I liked everything what I did.
Oh, wow, that's amazing. Now, this cuisine is not Albanian.
Well, first of all, the restaurant started as a small tapas restaurant, and one of the things I wanted to do is what I like the most. What I like to go outside and eat outside, like nice cheese, great pizzas, great appetizers, watch a little TV. Boston has become a really big sports town, so let's enjoy a little seat in the bar and a couple appetizers and make things very simple.
That's amazing. Now we're looking at these dishes. Could you describe some of the dishes that we have in front of us?
One of the dishes I like the most is the local crude over there, which is it's a daily catch fluke, which is, I call them also one of my favorite fish around. It's very light. It's simply cured with sea salt, garnished with a little bit of a radish and grapes and olive oil, extra virgin olive oil. We also do source some local oysters. We're trying to get some 3-4 different kind of oysters every day. And serve it with champagne mignonette, cocktail sauce, and horseradish. One of our dishes has really been a huge hit here. Mm-hmm. It's a black truffle homemade gnocchis with a braised short rib and wild mushrooms. And the chef is preparing tonight pan-seared sauteed shrimp over focaccia bread with paprika and sauteed tomatoes on white wine. One of the interesting stuff here is actually the pizza. Everybody makes pizza. Everybody claims their pizza is the best pizza.
I was looking at this.
Everybody thinks their neighborhood pizza. Everybody has a favorite pizza. What I like about this pizza is it's a simple, great pizza. It has a great crust to it. The organic flour delivered daily from Maine. It just makes it amazing pizza. Wow. We use homemade meatballs, and everybody who had a thing that's their grandmother's meatballs, they think we stole the recipe from their grandmothers because they're so good. And gorgonzola cheese and fresh tomato sauce.
That looks amazing. Now I want to ask you about the decor. Now I'm going to use an Albanian word. Tell us about the lights or the dritas in this establishment. These are gas lights.
Well, what's amazing about this restaurant, I think personally, after we discovered what the ceiling looks like, we played with it a little bit. I saw the rustic look to it. We bought some nice lights online, and we tried to match everything around here. There was a lot of brick, a lot of wood, And those 2 lights right here was donated by a friend of mine, and they were picked out of somewhere in the streets in Boston, the 1800s, and one of our electrician here actually cleaned them up, made them look like they used to be gas lights. So we hang them up there, and I love them. I think they're just part of a Boston history.
It's absolutely beautiful. So these lights are over probably 150 years old.
I would say so.
I mean, they did a great job
They used to be
refurbishing
upside
them.
down. If you look at them, they used to be upside down, and they used to be gas lights.
Oh, I see. So these are actually inverted then.
Yes.
Oh, I
They're
see.
about 5, almost 6 feet tall.
They are simply amazing. When you come into this area, your eye really goes to the lights. They're beautiful, and it creates a wonderful ambiance. Mr. KKatie, thank you so much for joining us. We're having such a great time here, and we're about to dig into this great food. Much continued
Thank you
success.
very much. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Here we are in Quincy Center. We've had such a great time. There's so much to do here. There's history, there's food, there's restaurants, so much to do. It's a walking city. I don't know where to start first. So come on down and check it out and see for yourself.
So welcome back to What's New Massachusetts. Sharon, this has been a great show.
It was. We learned so much. Kerry knows everything. I am convinced. He knows everything about everything.
So we just watched a clip on Zef's. So tell us about the food.
The food, oh God, there were so many. You got cut
I did.
eating the oysters.
I sliced my hand with an oyster. I was eating them so fast. I was devouring the oysters.
Yes, and all of a sudden there was
Slice.
blood. There was blood on it. I said, where'd that come from? But you got cut with the little knife, but you're okay now, right? You
Yeah,
little boo-boo.
I'm okay, but I continued eating the oysters even though I was
You
bleeding
did.
everywhere.
It was good, and they had like this really cool pizza that had meatballs on it. They had so many different Venetian dishes there, and the decor was amazing, as you saw in the clip. Beautiful, beautiful decor.
Absolutely.
And an amazing staff. We had such a great time, and there was so much food. I mean, we're just pigging out. We're eating everywhere.
I'll tell you, the gnocchi was to die for.
Wow.
I had the take-home stuff. I had
That's
the
right.
gnocchi and then the shrimp dish. It was amazing.
Oh my gosh! So you were home, kind of devouring that. That's why I didn't hear from you for a few days, right? You were devouring, but it was a lot of fun. And once again, what's so interesting is it's a diverse type of restaurants that are in Quincy Center. You have to go down and check it out.
Absolutely. So, March edition of What's New Massachusetts. It's been a pleasure having you on the show, and I'm really excited that Byrne was able to go on the show as well.
He's a great guy. He's a great guy.
Maybe we'll
Knows
have
so
him on
much.
again, maybe for an upcoming edition of What's New Massachusetts.
He's so much fun, and we always learn something great from him.
So have a great month. See you next month on What's New Massachusetts.
Bye.
Bye.